This is the ultimate kit setup ergonomics test. If your kit is set up comfortably according to your body and your playing style, you shouldn't have to see it while you play it, right? It's time for a creative experiment. I'm gonna play my kit blindfolded, which I've never done before, and we'll see how I do. Hey everybody, welcome to The Non-Glamorous Drummer. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. But why is this a big deal worth making a video about, you may ask? Well, I first got the idea for this when somebody showed me a Michel Camilo video. This guy's an insane Latin style piano player. If you've never seen him, I've got the link to this particular video I'm talking about in the description below. He's playing with a couple other musicians and they're playing this crazy lightning fast, fiery Latin thing, and he's playing all over the piano, playing the piano like a conga player basically. And the drummers, all these crazy chops. But in the midst of all the notes that they're playing musically, they're interacting with each other, and it's really fun to listen to and really fun to watch. And most importantly, and most striking about this, they're looking at each other. The musicians are all locked in on each other. They're looking at each other's faces. Nobody's buried in the piano, nobody's buried in the drums. And so they're all very aware of what's going on around them, which I find fascinating because they're playing so many notes and they're playing such busyness that you could get so absorbed in and you could have your eyes closed and be going like this the whole time, but they're not. They're focused and they're listening. Now, of course, this has a lot of implications. That means that they're catching subtle signals from each other. They're able to better follow each other. They're aware of their surroundings. It's good to be aware of your surroundings on a gig. And making visual decisions like that to look at other people also helps you listen better, and it'll help you focus less on what you're doing and more on listening to other people around you. So there's a lot of really good stuff going on here that is very well worth talking about as a musician. So having said all that and having talked up the whole concept of not looking at your drums while playing, let's find out if I can do it. I'm gonna jump over here on the kit and I'm gonna put my blindfold on so that you know my eyes are closed and I'm not seeing anything. And I'm just gonna start playing a bunch of random stuff and we'll see what happens. So I think it was interesting, you probably heard that annoying ring coming from the snare. And that was mostly because I was trying to play rim shots and the stick wasn't really landing in that spot close to the center. There's kind of a radius about like this where if you're landing outside that, you're gonna have a lot of ring that might not be desirable if you want that focused punch and crack of hitting in the middle, having that solid rim shot. And so I was struggling to really find that precise position when playing the loud rock groove. And I I felt okay about the overall position of the snare. The rack tom I didn't feel super precise about, like I was guessing a little bit going there. Floor tom felt okay, ride was fine, and there were a couple of times you saw me miss the crash over here. We definitely had some issues going on there, and I wanted to make sure that I covered a few different styles amongst all the randomness, and so I played a little bit of jazz and Latin. And interestingly, I found that jazz and Latin was much more comfortable to play with my eyes closed than the rock stuff, especially the tom grooves around the kit. So maybe that exposes some flaws in my playing that, okay, I need to work on looking at my drums less when playing rock. I need to fine tune my positionings here. And really that's my challenge to you guys. Take the blindfold test, or at least sit down at your kit with your eyes closed and keep yourself honest, keep your eyes closed, and see what happens. If you're finding that every time you're hitting the rim of the snare and not the middle, or you're not able to play a rim shot well because you keep hitting the middle, well, maybe you need to adjust the height of your snare. If you keep thinking the cymbal's here, not here, adjust the cymbal positioning, adjust the tom angle if you're accidentally hitting rim shots there. So there's certain obvious things where you can make adjustments. One of the adjustments I can make would actually be bringing this cymbal a little bit further this way, but I can't because of where the rack is, and so the rack's kind of at a tricky place, and so my kit setup has already been like putting together a puzzle, trying to compromise on things. And so really this was just a litmus test to show me that, yeah, the positioning of my rack tom isn't perfect because the kick drum's right here, and so the positioning of the cymbal isn't perfect, but the snare's all right, and kick, hi-hat, floor tom, ride are okay. So most of the kit's in a good spot. Do the test, see what happens with yours. Let me know in the comments below, or better yet, shoot me an email. Tell me how it went when you decided to do the blindfold test yourself. Should you be able to play drums blindfolded? I'd say in an ideal world, yes, especially when playing jazz and Latin, because you're probably reading a chart. And maybe you've got to keep an eye on the band director. If you're in jazz band in high school or college, or you play in a band that's like that, then you really can't look at your instrument. And so if you're playing jazz or Latin or anything like that, yeah, be able to play blindfolded. Playing rock, I think we can be a little more lenient because it is more traditional in just the rock drumming sense that it's weird to be playing rock drums and just be like looking that way while you're playing big rock stuff, because it doesn't look natural, and we're used to, getting into it and really getting into it. But either way, make sure your kit setup is comfortable, and in doing this, you'll really expose anything that isn't quite right. Hey, I hope this video helped you out, or at least entertained you, and at least got your mind thinking along the lines of ergonomics and how we can better adjust our kits. I know I learned a lot from making this video, and I love when I can find things like this that I know I need to work on, and I hope that encourages you guys. We're all working on this stuff together. If you found this useful and valuable, I hope you'll subscribe if you haven't already, and I hope you'll share the video. Thanks, and I'll see you guys next time.